Are you scared of doing novations when you're wholesaling real estate? I understand. I'm gonna walk you guys through a novation deal that I did. It was actually my first ever novation and it went horribly wrong, but I made a couple $1,000s on it and the seller was happy. So make sure you guys stick around to the end of the video so you know exactly what not to do when doing your first novation. So for those of you that don't know what a novation is, it's getting the ability to list somebody's house on the MLS, on market, on Zillow, while you have it under contract. So now as a wholesaler, you can find a retail buyer instead of just looking for cash buyers off market. Now I know there's a lot of misconception about exactly what a novation is, so I want to clarify that this is what an actual novation is. Now I'll have other videos where I will break down the steps of novations and how they work more intricately, but this is just a story about the first one that I attempted and I guess successfully pulled off. All right, so I want you guys to meet Kevin. Very cool guy who lived in Gary, Indiana. So one of my old students, Jennifer, brought this deal to me. She said, hey, this is an off-market lead. This guy wants to sell his house. I wasn't really sure what to lock it up for, et cetera, et cetera. So I hopped on the phone with Kevin, had a great conversation, ended up locking up his house for like $35,000, something like that. All right, so this is the first time I do a novation. The paperwork's new to me. We get, the authorization to list his house on market, which is called getting attorney in fact or a limited power of attorney so that you can sign listing docs and offers. And we got all of that from Kevin, which was very hard to explain for the first time, but we found that being transparent is the best way. We just said, hey, Kevin, your property's not really fit for us, but we can utilize our network and the MLS, maybe throw it on market and help bring a buyer at your price. Kevin was kind of in a precarious situation. He needed to sell, he was trying to move, and his house needed a decent amount of work and was not in the best area. So after searching for cash buyers and not being able to make it happen, we decided to list his house on market. Now we use what's called a flat fee listing service, so you can pay a couple of $100s to have your house listed rather than give a seller's agent 3% of the total profit. 3% of $30-something thousand is not very much, but $200 is still less. So when you do that, you have to act as the real estate agent, right? So everybody that's calling and wanting to see the house, I'm setting up showings, I'm coordinating with the seller, Kevin, I'm hearing the feedback, I'm doing the negotiations, I'm doing all of that. Now that's what my business partner who handles the dispositions for our company is constantly doing on a day-to-day basis because we do list most of our properties on market. Now, we had Kevin's house listed on market for over 4 months. I think it was almost 6 months by the time we actually ended up going to the closing table. Now, we had tons of showings. People didn't like how his house looked, how much work it needed. We had to get multiple reductions from Kevin. I think we ended up being at like $22,000 from $36,000 when we first started. And then I ended up finally in the 5th month or 6th month finding the buyer, Ty, who ended up buying the property. Now we actually had a previous buyer and we got to the closing table. Kevin drove to the closing office. I had all the documents in, the assignment was filled out, earnest money was in, and the buyer never showed up. And then he ghosted us and didn't answer his phone for a whole day. Then he finally says, oh, so I had some stuff move around, I can't afford the property. Me and my partner called this Broky Syndrome. You just don't have enough money, you put down offers on stuff, act like you're gonna buy it, pretend to be cool for somebody, and ultimately waste everybody's time. So this guy backed out, title company was pissed, Kevin was pissed. How did I handle it and come back from that? I know most of your guys' concerns with novations are, what if nobody buys the property? What if you waste everyone's time? What if you look stupid? Blah, 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 what if? Well, all those things happened to me. And all I did was I said, hey Kevin, so that buyer backed out, I'm gonna work as hard as I can to find a new one. If we're willing to do a $2,000 reduction and you give me a 30-day extension, I promise you, I'll find a buyer for your house. But hey, if you wanna back out because now we're out of contract and you wanna go sell your house on your own, then by all means do that, no hard feelings. Sorry I wasted your time. And he said, you know what, I'll give you 30 more days, man. You've been honest with me, you've been upfront with me, you've been rocking with me from the beginning. So he signs the reduction, gives me 30 more days, and about a week after that, I get a call from Ty. She loves the property. We end up negotiating. Kevin gets to sell it and make money and go move and be with his family in another state. I got to make, I think, $2,800. And Ty got a beautiful house that now she gets to flip and use as a rental. But all I did was stay calm and transparent with everybody. I apologized to the escrow officer at the title company. Like I said, me and Kevin got on good terms and he was on board. And I was just patient and trusted the process. I knew if we got a little bit of a reduction, we would find a buyer. Now, I say that to say this. The biggest thing you can do is not panic and not be scared to tell the sellers where you're at, right? Obviously, you're gonna frame everything in a positive light and frame it in a way where you're working as hard as you can, and you should be, but transparency is key to having people not get pissed off and have people stay on your side. I actually have a testimony on my company website from Kevin, even though what turned from a 30-day cash deal into a 6-month novation wasn't what he was planning on. He was actually so pleased with our service and said nice things about us because of how we framed everything, how we were transparent, and how we just plain old do good business. So when you guys are scared or worried to do novations because of what can go wrong, just know that even if it does go wrong, if you handle it properly with confidence and poise and experience, you're gonna be fine. So that's my first experience doing a novation and listing somebody's house that I have under contract on market to find a retail buyer. It was scary. It cost a couple of $100s to list the house and get the pictures, so there's a little bit of risk of your own money involved, and there's a lot more headaches and things that can go wrong when you incorporate real estate agents, but all in all, it's doable. You can get it done, and if you listen to me, you can avoid a lot of the problems that are gonna arise when you do decide to take the plunge. I hope you guys enjoyed the story about my first novation. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to your boy, and stay tuned, because I'm gonna have a lot more videos coming out about novations, how to do them, and how you guys can maximize all your profits on all your deals. You're in Jamestown now, so relax, take some notes, and let's make some fucking money.